Hey, Paul, what are you doing?
What? What?
What are you doing?
I'm eating this.
That's for the next episode.
Oh, well, we finished it.
We may have finished it, but whatever. Fine. Hi, we're back. And I guess it's been decided now that he's back to being full, and I'm back to being tipsy.
Mm-hmm.
You'll at least get to enjoy the beer. This is our lager. I have suffered for this because we have kept the temperature in the house cooler because the beer needed to be cooler while it fermented. I have been freezing the past 2 weeks. I have been so cold.
It's not been so bad.
It's been cold. He loves it. I hate it. So how do we know it's done?
It stopped gurgling. The little airlock here is not putting bubbles anymore, which means all the fermentable sugars should be done.
Cool.
Or something else has killed the yeast. But more than likely, the fermentable sugars are done.
I hope it's not something else.
Usually it's not, because I still see we have a little bit of vodka here where we put in for the airlock, so there shouldn't be anything gotten in there. We're putting the contents of this barrel into this barrel.
All right.
So this is a corky keg, is what's known as. This type of keg is actually originally started out as a soda keg. But I've converted our kegerator to be able to take the fittings for it so that we can use it for homebrew, because these are a whole lot easier to clean out because you can actually pull this entire top off.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And it's a whole lot easier than bottles, because every bottle you have to sterilize and cap, and then we have to work with the primer sugar. If we were to put it in glass jars and cap them either with Grolsch Top or regular caps, it's going to take a couple of weeks for the carbonation to build back up in the bottom.
Also known as aging it. But what we're going to do is we're going to artificially age it by putting it in the keg and force carbonation into the liquid itself. It takes around 4 days. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's a 20 psi, where normal operation is somewhere between 8 and 12.
Yep. If we're wrong, don't trust us as the authority on home brewing and kegerating and all of that.
Are we ready?
I guess. Here are two options. We have just the straight tubing, which this does have the spigot on the bottom like we talked about before. Or we can use this, which is a siphon, which is really nice. And we can make sure we get less of the sediment that's at the bottom, which happens to be dead yeast. A little bit of hop, residual stuff, but mainly
dead yeast.
Dead yeast. So which one do you want to use?
I'll let you choose since you have them in your hand.
I like gravity.
Alrighty then, let's go ahead and do it that way.
It's not wide enough. So we wanted to use just straight gravity and feed it from the spigot, but it's not going to work because our hose is actually not the right diameter. Oopsie.
Not sure how that happened, but it did. Okay.
So we'll be using the siphon, and this is actually really cool. It's so much easier than siphoning by mouth.
Except not as tasty.
We have our familiar tools again, the hydrometer, the graduated cylinder, and our ladle. So now that this is finished fermenting, we're going to check the sugar level, and that should give us a good idea of how much sugar has been consumed and therefore how much has been turned into alcohol, in theory.
And always remember to sterilize these things before we do this.
And we already have, but we didn't want to bore you with another sterilization montage. Put it in. Whoa! It sank so low. That's reading 0.
That means all the sugar has been out of it. That means it is done.
There is nothing left for the yeast to eat. Woo, boy! We got maximum yield out of this.
Let's see how it tastes. You first, or would you like me, Tipsy?
Ooh, it does smell kind of honey-like. Flatness.
Well, it's going to be. It's not carbonated yet. Also known as grog.
And it's not as delicious as when it's carbonated. It's definitely...
It's very good, though.
It is definitely dry. You can definitely tell there was no sugar left in that. But it's the... At least right now, the hop flavor doesn't linger. It's very mild. Yeah, I like it.
Alright, so how we do this, get this started, we'll take, of course, this end and put it into our keg. We'll take the other end and put it into the bucket. Don't take it all the way to the bottom because we want to leave as much sediment as we can in the bucket. We're going to be able to hook that to the side of the fermenter, and all you got to do now is pull up and push back down. And what will happen is you'll see the liquid just come on through the tube. And this will go on for a little while.
So as the beer level here drops, I'm going to have to start dropping this, but I want to make sure I don't catch any of the sediment. So I'm looking at the tube and making sure no matter how low I go, I'm still getting fresh, clean liquid. This siphon system actually works on the fact that this bucket is higher than that, and so whatever the level of the liquid is in here, no matter what, is higher than that, so gravity will be pushing it down. It's kind of convoluted that it would be pushing it upwards and down, but maybe I'll find some science to put up in a little clip right now. So for me grog, me jolly grog. So for the beer and tobacco, I spent all my tin on the lassies drinking gin. Across the western ocean I must wander. We've completely siphoned off as much as we can. There's the siphon right there, and all of that, and that is dead yeast. Those little yeast multiplied from that little tiny package we put in to that amount. That's got to be what, ½ inch deep at the bottom?
Yep.
Just solid dead yeast mass. Yeesh. But we've got a full keg of beautiful beer. And a mess on the floor.
Let's get this in there. Seal it up, and then I will go ahead and put that in the keg, in the kegerator. Here we go.
Alrighty, so 4 days, 20 psi?
20 psi.
Awesome. Well, see you in a few days.